Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you could face any challenge with serenity, make decisions with clarity, always act in a fair and balanced way? Imagine a world where your reactions are not dictated by fear, anger, or momentary impulses, but by a deep understanding and control of yourself. How many times have you felt paralyzed by fear, not knowing how to act? Or have you found yourself stuck in conflicts, unable to find a just solution? What about those times when you gave in to impulsive desires, only to regret it later? Today we will explore the 4 essential virtues of Stoic philosophy, how they can be applied in your daily life, and how they can transform you, providing a more harmonious and fulfilling life. You will learn to overcome your fears, make more conscious decisions, have fairer relationships, live in a balanced way, discover which of these virtues you possess, and which ones you should seek to improve your life. And best of all, I'm going to reveal which of these virtues is considered the most important by the Stoics, leaving this crucial revelation for the end of our video. But before, have you ever wondered what it would be like to have access to a constant source of ancient wisdom, applied in a practical way to your personal development? Here you'll find just that. The best videos about the Stoic virtues, teachings of great philosophers, and practical tips to transform your life. So don't forget to sign up to enrich your day-to-day with knowledge that has spanned centuries and is still relevant today. Now let's start by talking about the virtue of wisdom. Wisdom, or Sophia, is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, a virtue that lights the way to a full and balanced life. When we delve into Stoic wisdom, we understand that it is not just an accumulation of theoretical knowledge, but an ongoing practice of discernment and conscious action. The Stoics teach us how to apply wisdom in our daily lives, helping us navigate challenges and uncertainties with serenity and clarity. For the Stoics, wisdom begins with understanding the dichotomy of control. This is the idea that there are things that are within our control and others that are not. Under our control are our own actions, thoughts, and attitudes. Outside of our control are external events, other people's actions, and unforeseeable circumstances. By internalizing this dichotomy, Stoics learn to direct their energies only to what they can influence, freeing themselves from the anxiety and stress generated by the futile attempt to control the uncontrollable. This understanding transforms how we approach our challenges, allowing us to approach life with a calm and centered mind. The practical application of wisdom also involves the constant exercise of right judgment. The Stoics believe that our perception of events, more than the events themselves, determines our emotional well-being. Therefore, they train themselves to interpret situations in a rational way, avoiding impulsive and emotional reactions. This is reflected in Epictetus's famous reflection: "It is not the things that disturb us, but rather the opinion we have of them." By applying this perspective, the Stoics maintain equanimity even in the face of adversity, recognizing that their reactions are choices that can be shaped by reason. Another crucial aspect of Stoic wisdom is the acceptance of the impermanent nature of life. The Stoics practice memento mori, the constant reminder of mortality, not as a form of despair but as a means of cherishing each present moment. This practice encourages us to live fully, appreciating the now rather than clinging to unrealistic expectations about the future. By embracing the transience of life, Stoics develop a deep gratitude and a broader perspective on what really matters, focusing on virtues and continuous improvement of themselves. In addition, Stoic wisdom manifests itself in the pursuit of knowledge and a willingness to learn from every experience. Every situation, good or bad, is an opportunity for growth and learning. They encourage the constant practice of self-reflection and critical analysis of one's actions and thoughts. That means asking questions like, "What can I learn from this situation?" or "How can I respond in a more virtuous way?" This habit of continual self-evaluation strengthens character and resilience, allowing Stoics to become increasingly wise and effective in their lives. Stoic wisdom is also reflected in the practice of detachment. The Stoics teach that we should let go of desires and aversions that are out of our control. Instead of relentlessly seeking pleasure or avoiding pain, We should seek to live in harmony with nature and our principles. This detachment does not mean indifference, but rather a serene acceptance of reality, where we find contentment and inner peace not in external circumstances, but in the virtue and righteousness of our actions. Therefore, Stoic wisdom is a practical virtue that transforms the way we live and interact with the world. It guides us to live according to reason, to accept what we cannot change, and to focus on what is within our control. By applying these principles to our daily lives, we can find a deep sense of peace and fulfillment, regardless of external circumstances. Thus, wisdom invites us on an ongoing journey of self-discovery and improvement, where every moment is an opportunity to grow and become more aligned with the true nature of virtue. Applying Stoic wisdom in our day-to-day lives may seem challenging at first glance, but it is a deeply transformative process that can bring peace and clarity to our daily lives. Wisdom in the Stoic context teaches us to live according to reason and nature, which means making conscious and thoughtful choices in all areas of our lives. Let's take examples from our daily lives to clarify this. Imagine yourself stuck in traffic, something many of us face on a daily basis. The common reaction is to feel frustration, anger, or impatience. However, by applying Stoic wisdom, we can reinterpret this situation. First, we recognize that traffic is out of our control. Instead of wasting energy trying to change the unalterable, we use that time for something positive. Maybe listen to an audiobook, an inspirational podcast, or simply use the opportunity to practice deep breathing and meditation. This simple act of changing perspective turns a stressful time into an opportunity for learning and personal growth. Another example is dealing with criticism in the workplace. When receiving negative feedback, our knee-jerk reaction can be defensive or discouraged. Stoic wisdom teaches us to see criticism as a tool for self-development. Instead of being offended, we seek to understand the essence of feedback and how it can help us improve. So we ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? And how can I use this information to become better at what I do? This process of self-reflection not only improves our skills but also strengthens our character and emotional resilience. In the context of personal relationships, Stoic wisdom is equally valuable. We often find ourselves frustrated or hurt by other people's actions. Here, the practice of distinguishing between what is in our control and what is not is crucial. We can't control the actions of others, but we can control how we react to them. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can choose to respond calmly and empathetically. For example, if a friend or partner is having a bad day and acts angry, instead of responding with irritation, we can offer understanding and support. Not only does this approach help resolve conflicts more peacefully, but it also strengthens our relationships. Wisdom also manifests itself in time management. We often feel overwhelmed with tasks and responsibilities. The application of Stoic wisdom here involves prioritizing what is truly important. We make a list of our daily tasks and ask which of them really contribute to our well-being and growth. Focusing on essential priorities and eliminating unnecessary activities can bring a sense of control and accomplishment. Additionally, making time for self-care, such as physical exercise, meditation, and hobbies, is a wise practice that nourishes both the body and mind. Another area where Stoic wisdom can be applied is in accepting life's changes and uncertainties. We all face unforeseen situations, whether they're big, like the loss of a job, or small, like a cancelled plan. Wisdom teaches us to embrace these changes with serenity. Instead of resisting or whining, we accept impermanence as a natural part of life. This attitude of acceptance not only reduces suffering, but also opens doors to new opportunities and perspectives. Now that you understand how to apply wisdom in your life, let's talk a little bit about the next virtue, the courage. Courage, or Andrea, is a central virtue in Stoic philosophy. But what does it really mean to be brave in our daily lives? Stoic courage goes beyond physical strength. It encompasses moral courage, the inner strength needed to face adversity, fears, and challenges with serenity and determination. Let's explore how this virtue can be applied in our daily lives, transforming our lives and connecting more deeply with our values and principles. Think of a recent time when you felt intimidated or afraid to take action. Maybe it was a situation at work, like public speaking or facing a difficult boss. Courage teaches us that even in the face of these challenges, we must act in accordance with our values. Imagine facing this situation calmly and decisively, keeping your integrity and principles intact. That is the true meaning of Stoic courage, not allowing fear or adversity to divert us from the path of virtue. Now consider times when you had to make a difficult decision, perhaps involving friends or family. Moral courage entails doing what's right, even when it's unpopular or uncomfortable. For example, telling a friend the truth who is acting in a hurtful way. It takes courage to confront reality and act on our principles even when it may cause momentary discomfort. So ask yourself, in how many situations have you avoided the truth to avoid conflict? What if instead you chose courage, approaching these situations with honesty and compassion? Stoic courage also involves accepting life's inevitable difficulties without succumbing to despair. Think about the personal crises you faced, the loss of a loved one, a health problem, a financial hardship. The natural reaction can be despair, anger, or resignation. However, Stoic philosophy invites us to face these challenges with a calm and resolute mind. Remember that these times of adversity are opportunities to strengthen our resilience and grow as individuals. So take a deep breath and answer to yourself, how can I turn this difficulty into a life lesson? In everyday life, we can practice Stoic courage in small actions. When faced with a problem that seems insurmountable, instead of avoiding or procrastinating, face it head-on. Maybe it's a tricky task at work or a difficult conversation you've been putting off. Approach these situations with courage, recognizing that by facing them, you are cultivating an essential virtue. So ask yourself, what are the challenges I'm avoiding? How can I begin to face them today with courage and determination? Courage also manifests itself in our willingness to accept reality, no matter how difficult it may be. Instead of shying away from problems or deluding ourselves with false hopes, the Stoics teach us to look reality in the face. This does not mean passive resignation, but an active and courageous acceptance of the facts, followed by a determination to act on our values. Imagine accepting a difficult situation in your life, such as a professional or personal setback, and using that acceptance as a starting point for positive change. Stoic courage is the strength to live up to virtue, even when it is difficult or unpopular. It challenges us to face fears and adversity with serenity and determination, to make moral decisions even under pressure, and to accept reality with a resolute mind. By practicing Stoic courage in our daily lives, we can transform our lives and move closer to a fuller, more virtuous existence. Remember, true courage is not the absence of fear, but the determination to act with integrity in spite of it. Now let's talk about a virtue that is much venerated among philosophers and good-hearted people: justice. Justice, or dikaiosune, is a fundamental virtue in Stoic philosophy, being the basis of a moral and ethical life. But what does it mean to be righteous in our daily lives? Justice is not limited to laws or formal judgments, but extends to all our actions and interactions with others. It's about treating each person with dignity and respect, recognizing the interconnectedness and interdependence of all human beings. Let's explore how this virtue can be applied in our everyday lives, setting an example for us to reflect on our actions and attitudes. Think about your daily interactions, at work, at home, or with friends. How often do we act out of self-interest without considering the impact of our actions on others? Stoic justice calls us to act fairly and honestly, not only when it is convenient, but as a guiding principle of all our actions. Imagine being in a situation where you have the opportunity to benefit yourself at someone else's expense. Instead of going down this path, justice asks us to consider the collective well-being and act justly. This simple adjustment of perspective can transform our relationships and strengthen mutual trust. When we think of justice, the idea of giving everyone his or her due often comes to mind. But how does this apply on a day-to-day basis? Consider a coworker who is not being recognized for their efforts. Stoic justice encourages us to defend this colleague by acknowledging his contributions and ensuring that he receives due credit. This practice not only promotes a fairer work environment, but also encourages a culture of recognition and mutual support. By doing so, we are applying justice to our actions. It also manifests itself in the way we deal with conflict. It's easy to take sides or act with bias when we're emotionally involved. However, justice challenges us to be impartial and to seek solutions that benefit all involved. Think of a family argument where emotions run high. Instead of fueling conflict, justice guides us to listen to all parties with empathy and seek a common understanding. This approach not only resolves conflicts more effectively, but also strengthens family bonds and promotes harmony. Another important area where fairness applies is in social responsibility. We live in a world where inequalities abound, and justice calls us to act in ways that contribute to collective well-being. This could mean dedicating time to volunteering, supporting social causes, or simply treating everyone with respect and dignity, regardless of their social or economic standing. Imagine a small gesture, such as helping someone in need, and how it can have a significant impact on that person's life. Stoic justice reminds us that our actions have power, and that we can make a difference in the world around us. Stoic justice also involves the practice of honesty in all of our interactions. In a world where dishonesty may seem like an easy way to achieve goals, the Stoics remind us of the importance of being truthful and transparent. Think about the last time you had the opportunity to be dishonest, to avoid trouble or gain an advantage. Instead, imagine choosing the truth, even when it's difficult. This practice strengthens our character and builds an environment of trust and integrity around us. Therefore, the virtue of justice is more than just following rules. It is about living in a way that promotes equity, respect, and dignity for all. By applying this virtue in our daily lives, we can transform our interactions and contribute to a more just and harmonious world. Think about how you can incorporate more justice into your life today. Whether in small everyday actions or big decisions, Stoic justice guides us to a path of righteousness and integrity. This is the essence of living in a way that honors the interconnectedness of all human beings and contributes to collective well-being. And now let's talk about the last virtue and most important virtue, fundamental to the balance of life, temperance. Temperance, or sophrosyne, is one of the most essential virtues in Stoic philosophy. It represents moderation and self-control, the ability to govern our own desires and impulses, avoiding excesses and living in a balanced way. For the Stoics, temperance is key to maintaining inner harmony and peace of mind. Let's explore how this virtue can be applied in our daily lives, helping us to live in a more balanced and serene way. Think of a recent time when you gave in to an immediate impulse or desire, such as overeating, overspending, or indulging in an activity that you knew was harmful. Temperance calls us to reflect on these moments and seek a balance. Imagine, for example, when shopping, wondering if you really need one more item, or if you are just giving in to the desire to consume. By taking a more mindful and moderate approach, we can avoid rampant consumerism and focus on what is truly necessary, promoting a life of simplicity and contentment. In everyday life, temperance can be practiced in our food choices. Instead of eating impulsively or to excess, temperance teaches us to eat in a balanced way, listening to our body and respecting its needs. Think about the last time you were tempted to eat more than you needed. By practicing temperance, we can learn to stop when we are full, enjoying food instead of using it as a form of emotional compensation. Not only does this promote better health, but it also helps us develop greater self-control and discipline. Temperance also manifests itself in the use of time and technologies. With the constant temptation of social media and digital entertainment, it's easy to get lost in hours of purposeless browsing. This virtue invites us to use our time more consciously and productively. Imagine limiting the time you spend on social media and dedicating more time to activities that truly enrich your life, such as reading, exercising, or spending time with family. So take a moment to reflect and answer for yourself. How can I use my time in a more balanced and productive way? By doing so, we can reduce feelings of overwhelm and increase our overall life satisfaction. In our relationships, temperance guides us to maintain a balance between giving and receiving. Often, We may find ourselves overdoing our willingness to please others, or on the other hand, demanding too much of them. Temperance helps us find a middle ground, where we can offer support and affection without sacrificing excessively, and at the same time, be grateful and fair in our expectations of others. This creates healthier and more balanced relationships based on mutual respect and reciprocity. Temperance is also crucial in managing emotions. In times of anger, frustration, or sadness, it's easy to get overwhelmed by these emotions and overreact. The practice of temperance teaches us to pause and reflect before acting, seeking a more balanced and rational response. Imagine, for example, a conflict situation at work. Instead of reacting impulsively, temperance encourages us to take a moment to breathe and respond calmly and thoughtfully. Not only does this resolve conflicts more effectively, but it also promotes inner peace and harmony in the workplace. Finally, she teaches us to value what is sufficient and to avoid overindulgence. We live in a society that often urges us to always desire more. More money, more goods, more recognition. Temperance reminds us to find contentment in what we already have and to live according to our real needs, not superficial desires. Now think about this question for a moment. Am I looking for more than I really need? How can I simplify my life and find joy in the simple things? By cultivating this virtue, we can create a more fulfilling and balanced life. Do you want to discover how Stoic teachings can transform your life in practical and profound ways? So don't miss our next videos, where we will reveal more Stoic wisdom that will help you face challenges, make decisions with clarity, and live in a more balanced and conscious way. Each video brings valuable insights that can be applied in your daily life, bringing more harmony and peace of mind. Leave your thoughts on what you've learned in this video in the comments. Have you experienced any of the situations we've discussed? How did you deal with them? Share your experiences, and let's grow together on this journey of self-knowledge and personal development. I wait for you in the next video.